A human being being sliced into two. Can you imagine such a thing? Biafra is going to emerge as a nation. You know, despite the support of Britain, Russia, Egypt, and some other friends of Nigeria, we all will surely come out as a nation because we are fighting a just cause. Even a little child on the street will tell you this. We shall never go back to Nigeria again. God's grace will surely emerge as a nation. And so, as far as this war continues, we'll fight to the last man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic Government in Exile, His Excellency Ekpa Simon Njoku. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Biafrans. Thank you very much, the Cabinet, the Biafra Republic Government in Exile. I thank you very much, those who are listening and watching from different social media platforms. I also thank you, those who are listening through the Voice of Biafra, 97.5 FM, before the official launching of the Biafra satellite radio, which will happen anytime in a few days' time. I welcome all of you to this tour of Belgium. I want everyone to understand that we have picking up guns to defend our land, and the gun is not going down until the Biafra is liberated from the Islamic State of Nigeria. For decades, Biafra people have been treated like slaves within the Nigeria enslavement. Over 100 years, we have suffered marginalization, and we have seen worse than the apartheid in South Africa. Today, Biafra person cannot be a president in Nigeria. Biafra do not have seaport. Biafra do not have the presence of any embassy. Biafra do not have any office or any presence of multinational corporation. Biafra do not have any headquarters of any world class organization. Biafra land do not have the presence of the Nigeria federal government. Biafra land do not have road. Biafra do not have school. Biafra land do not have hospital. Biafra do not have social amenities. Biafra do not have any presence of Nigeria state within our land. This is not something that started yesterday. This has been the result of the marginalization, discrimination with impunity, the dangerous diversity of the Nigeria state that Biafra people is unfortunately being part of Nigeria. This is a mistake that British government have done, and will continue to hold the British government accountable. Will continue to blame them until the day Biafra will finally gain its freedom from Nigeria. The British, out of their selfish interest, joined people that have nothing in common together, and they begin to compete among themselves, religious-wise, economic-wise, educational-wise, and cultural-wise. And this whole combination of this pull apart from each other become a dangerous diversity that we suffer today. Biafra people embraced Christianity. Christianity preached about love of one another. Christianity preached about Do not harm your fellow human. We embrace Christianity. Our cultural and traditional religion also preach the same. Do not harm any person that is your close relative, your friends, extended families, and even foreigners and strangers. This is what our value system is all about. We embraced the foreign God and become even more radical than them. And then as time goes on, we begin to see the Islamic State, we begin to see the Fulanis coming with aggression, coming with terrorists, coming with terrorism, attacking and killing Biafrans since 1945. This led to the declaration of Biafra by Chief Odumegwu Ojukwu in 1967. Nigeria, being a dangerous diversity, witnessed coup upon coup, military coup upon military coup, and as this was going on, Simon Ekpa was not born. From 1967 to 1970, as Biafra struggled to exit Nigeria because they feel that their life is being threatened and their future and existence is being under attack. They fought a brutal war. Simon Ekpa was not born by then. After 1967 to 70 war, Nigeria declared that it was a no victor, no vanquish. By then, Chief Odumegwu Ojukwu was in exile. At the end of the day, he came back. He was celebrated because the decision, he saw what many people did not see. The people who fought Ojukwu today is being massacred in their villages. Gowon is one of them. Gowon village has witnessed the highest IDP camp within the Nigeria state. He didn't see this coming today. Simon Ekpa was not born in 1970. Simon Ekpa was not born in 1979. Simon Ekpa was not born in 1980. Simon Ekpa was not born in 1981. Was not born in 1982. Was not born in 1983. Was not born in 1984. Simon Ekpa was born in 1985. In 1982 to 1984, a man called Buhari planned coup against Nigeria. Out of this dangerous diversity, he became a military dictator under military rule in Nigeria. It was not as a result of Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa was not born. People are not asking question, why are there this coup upon coup upon coup within the Nigeria state being carried out by North and of course Yorubas? But whenever this coup happen, and if there is one single Igbo man in this coup, or one single Calabar man, or one single Ijaw man in this coup, it become Igbo coup. After that, this man called Buhari committed many atrocities, including an international crime. 1984, they kidnapped a man called Umaru Dikko from London because he believed, as a Fulani man, he doesn't respect law, not the law of his own country, not the law of any other country. He came back after many years to become a civilian president with impunity. This same man went to Kenya and kidnapped the current leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Before Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped in Kenya, there has been killing and killing since 1999 by the group led by Wazirike. Simon Ekpa was not part of it. From 1999, Wazirike Mossop members was massacred in cold blood killed at every given opportunity with stray bullet, straight shooting, live bullet by the Nigeria state. Simon Ekpa was not part of Biafra then, at least not part of the agitation for Biafra. The same Owazurike Mosob gave birth to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, indigenous people of Biafra, and still the killings of Biafra continued. In all these things that were going on, nobody summoned the courage to resist the killings of the Biafra agitators. In 2020, the Fulani killings and upsurge of terrorists become a thing of concern across the Nigeria state, across the entire Africa. They were ranked the number 4 most deadliest terrorist group in the world. And because our people become helpless and nobody was speaking for them, and none of these people who call themselves leaders from the eastern part of Nigeria were making any move to protect the women and children from Biafra territory. It was what gave the birth to the formation of the Eastern Security Network by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Simon Ekpa was yet not part of the leadership of the Biafra movement. After the Eastern Security Network was formed, they made sure they protected our people going to farm in the eastern part of Nigeria. It took them within 1 year, just the mention of Eastern Security Network then made the terrorists to flee from our land. Remember that those who pushed these terrorists to Biafra land did not push them to come and feed their cows. They came prepared for jihadist movement. This did not go down well with the Nigeria state that is being controlled by Fulani terrorist sponsors, from the president down to the lowest person. It didn't go down well with them. And they could not also eliminate the Eastern Security Network. So there is need to hunt for the founder and the head of the ESN and the Biafra movement, which is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. While this was going on, Simon Ekpa was just a broadcaster, making videos, sharing videos, exposing Nigeria state, and nothing else. This led, they went to Kenya, kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in 2021. I want people to understand that I'm just trying to make this as brief as possible, because between 2015 to 2017, we have witnessed the massacre of Biafra agitators under indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. They were killed in hundreds at every given opportunity. There has never been any reprisal attack against these killings. There has never been any consequences on the Nigeria side for killing Biafrans. Never has there been any consequences. They killed and we make noise. Those who were then make noise, and that is the end. As this was going on, some people who are today blackmailing and betraying the movement they started were the one who pushed these people to go and die. And after they got killed by the Nigeria terrorist state, their own life continued. They lived on. From this criminal called Chinasa Nworu to Chike Dozie, all of them were part of the movement. After people are massacred in the street, their own life moves on. They will now want other people to join. The killing did not stop until 2021. They kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. Remember, the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has nothing to do with Simon Ekpa. But you know, many of these criminals today, they tell you that the activities of Simon Ekpa is the reason Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not been released. And you have to ask them, was it Simon Ekpa activities in 2021 that led to the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the first place? The answer is no. I want you to understand how the enemy works. Those who have become the sabos in our struggle, they have made themselves available to be used by the enemy. So they tell you the activities of Simon Ekpa is the reason Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not released. But it was not the activities of Simon Ekpa that led to the kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But you know, when he was kidnapped, I looked around for 6 months. They know that I'm a very, very, very dangerous person because I know they must have done some consultation. The dangerous person in the sense that I will do everything to liberate my people. I will do everything to protect the women and children of Biafra because I have seen it all. It took me years to study Nigeria up to this point. Not only that, it took me years to study international law. And that international law is what I'm applying to the Biafra struggle today. For the very first time in the history of Biafra and Nigeria, the dangerous diversity that we find ourselves into have made it possible for us to defend ourselves. And as much as I agree on no violence, we are not the one bringing violence to Nigeria state. Rather, Nigeria aggression must be responded with aggression. That aggression is self-defense. After 2021, I promised Biafra people after 6 months of blackmailing me because I did not agree to work with them. I have seen many things that many people did not see. I promised Biafra and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu one thing. Your kidnapping will be useless. The reason they kidnap you from Kenya, I will make sure that it is as useless as anything. And your kidnapping from Kenya will be very, very expensive to Nigeria state. That was my promise before man and God. And believe me, I am living up to that promise. Today, if they are not regretting kidnapping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they are lying. I also promised Biafra, nobody will kill you again, like in Aba, like in Iguacha, like Wike did in Obibo, and go free. Remember, when Wike was killing Biafras in Obibo, Simon Ekpa was not there. It was not as a result of the activities of Simon Ekpa. Have you all forgotten? When you were massacred at Mpo and Enugu, Simon Ekpa was not your member. Simon Ekpa was not even talking about Biafra. But today, the enemy is trying to make you believe that the problem is Simon Ekpa. What was the problem that led to the massacre of thousands of Biafrans in Obibo by Wike? Was it Simon Ekpa? What was the problem that led to the massacre of Biafrans in Aba, in the school? Over 150, at least officially reported. It is more than 200 people massacred in one day. Simon Ekpa was not a member of Biafra then. When they were killing people in Enugu, when they were for money training, massacred our boys in Enugu state, Simon Ekpa was not part of it. What was the problem then? What led to the massacre of Biafrans in Enugu? Now, I want you to understand one thing. The enemy have seen that somebody actually knows his right from his left. And that person is the Prime Minister of Biafra today. For the very first time in the history of Nigeria and Biafra, we say, even though we are fighting for the exit of Biafra peacefully, we will not fold our arms and watch you kill us again and cry on social media. No. When you come with your arms, we will defend ourselves with our own arms. And that is exactly what is happening today. But you know, they are crying. And I want you to understand, ask yourself a question. They say Simon Ekpa is killing military in the East. What are the military doing in the East? Are you not in democratic system? What is the business of military in your street? Why are military having checkpoint in Biafra land? Is it not, are we not in democracy? I want you to know the answer today? The answer is because they feel threatened. They feel that Biafra, it is time for Biafra to go. They feel that Nigeria have expired. And the only challenge Nigeria has is coming from the East. And let me tell you, no amount of bullet will suppress the challenge that the East is giving to Nigeria today until the exit. So they try to make you understand that Simon Ekpa is killing soldiers. And I want you to ask them, what was Simon Ekpa doing when the people of Biafra were massacred at Mpo? Just last year, they killed them in Aba. Was it Simon Ekpa? The answer is no. And the last question I want to ask some of you today, before I go to the update and achievement we've made very briefly, is they came and announced that 16 soldiers has been massacred in Okwama community. But what they are not telling you people, what were the soldiers doing there? We've listened to different stories. The story of oil bunkering, which is the business of the Nigeria army, terrorist army. That's what they do. The fight in Okwama community is a fight of the control of oil bunkering. They are not telling you people this story. The Biafra government has nothing to do with oil bunkering. We are going to control our natural resources by ourselves, by force, by arms, by everything possible. And when that time comes, you will know that Biafra government is responsible for whatever that is going on in control of our resources. The time is going to come. Now, if they are crying about the soldiers that have been killed in Iguacha, how many times have they cried that the Biafra Liberation Army killed soldiers? But they are complaining and crying every day for nothing. At least you have seen that soldiers were killed in the Okoma community for bunkering, for oil bunkering. But have you seen them crying that, mentioning it, that Biafra Liberation Army have killed the Nigeria army and they want to revenge? Have you seen them saying it? Ask yourself, why is Okoma community different? Because they know the validation of Biafra will begin from there. But they are not mentioning it. Do you know, as they are killing Biafrans, Biafra army are neutralizing them? Do you know how many numbers of all these terrorist army that Biafra Liberation Army have neutralized? Thousands of them. I am saying I want you to cut this particular segment. Thousands of them. And if they have not neutralized them, they will level entire village in Biafra land. We will not allow that anymore. They have done it before. But the question I want to ask those sabos, why have they not mentioned that Biafra Liberation Army are killing Nigeria army when they come to kill us? Rather, they are mentioning and publicizing just 16 soldiers that the community, that the people that are fighting doing oil bunkering, they had issue and it led to their death because they have been killing each other in that community. It has absolutely nothing to do with Biafra. But that community is a Biafra community. But you see, it was all over news everywhere. 16. But ask them to give account of how many soldiers has fallen in the second Biafra war. Because what is happening now is Biafra war. A systematic war going on. How many Nigeria army, terrorist army has fallen in Imo State? I am telling you, they are running up to thousands in Imo State. But they have not come to shout that army have died in Imo State. Ask yourself, why? And let me tell you, we are operating under international law. There is no law that we have violated because we know exactly what we're doing. You don't expect Biafrans to fold their arms, to fold their hand, because we are fighting to liberate ourselves peacefully. We were agitating peacefully, and for that reason, you pick up your guns and your AK-47 and start shooting a live bullet on protesters. For many years. And I told them, If you have been shouting on social media, I will not shout on social media. Have you seen me broadcasting for a long time? My broadcast is what I am doing now. On this tour, I use the opportunity to speak to Biafrans like you, and that is the broadcast I'm having now. The time for broadcasting is over. It is the time to put everything we have learned and researched for many years into action, into work. And whenever the time for this tour, I will use the opportunity to broadcast to the Biafra people. That's what I'm doing. And when our social media app comes out, maybe there could be a change. So I want to assure you people today, Biafra, all over the world, that the defense of Biafra is a no-go area. We will fight and fight until the Biafra is restored. And nobody is going to die. I am telling you the fact. Our aim and objective is to make sure in this fight, no Biafra dies. But like Onyendu used to say, they will kill us, we will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra will come. I want to thank those of you who have supported this movement up to this point. But remember, we have entered the liberation phase where everything will be very difficult. By the special grace of God, it will not be difficult for the Biafra people. The dragon flag has been raised since 2021. And the dragon flag is not going down. We have raised the Biafra Liberation Army flag. We have also raised the Biafra Resistance Fighters flag. We have raised the Biafra Navy flag. We have raised the defense, the BDF, the Biafra Defense Force flag. That flag, those flags, will never go down until the declaration of Biafra, and Biafra will be defended. For those who are saying that it is not possible, that we are just deceiving people, thank you very much. We will deceive people, but remember, when the time comes, and if you are a Biafra and saying it, you have something waiting for you. The Biafra law and policy will wait for you at the right time. And then you will shout, had I known. Those who are the people are shouting, Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa is killing soldiers in Nigeria. Why are you going to support him? These are the same people who were pushing people to go and die in Aba. And they went and actually died. We have the recent one. And I want to ask you, have there been any consequences from their side? The answer is no. But you know, we are not going to overlook those things based on the fact that they are not supporting what we are doing. Every Biafran is recognized by Biafra government. Government is a government. We are not organization. We are not IPOB that you say you don't register. You are not a registered member. No, that is the difference. So when those people were killed in Aba, we made sure that the Nigeria government that killed them pay for it. And today, believe me, they have paid more than that expected. So the government of Biafra is living up to its responsibility. And we have also made sure that those of our people who think that the government is just a shambolic one, in their various communities, there has been peace and tranquility, while other people in Nigeria are facing extinction, including displacement, going to IDP camp, killing them, abducting school children, killing women and all that. They are all happening all over Nigeria. It is only in Biafra territory that that is not happening. And I'm telling you, any day they try and abduct anybody in mass in Biafra land, believe me, I will not say what we're going to do, but we know where to hold them. The time has come that you must be speaking very bold. Do not be scared of your enemy. The invasion of Biafra land must stop. The terrorist checkpoint in Biafra land must be disbanded. Let me tell you, it is something that is going to take time. We're not saying that it must end in one day or in 1 week. It is something that is going to take time. We are fighting a terrorist government that has billions of dollars. And so far, so good. Systematically, as you can see, we are defeating them. And the defeat will continue. So my fellow Biafran, the 2nd of December declaration of the restoration of independent state of Biafra is very sacrosanct. We maintain it is very, very sacrosanct. The ongoing self-referendum is very important, that you stick and make sure that your people in your villages, in your town, participate in the voting. We need as many number of votes as possible in order to legitimize or to validate the actions of the government. We must get a reasonable number of votes, and we'll have time. Those states that are yet to receive their tablet, especially the electoral officials, you are going to receive your tablet very, very soon. So, but for now, it is very imperative that the media team of the Biafra Republic government in exile and every lovers of Biafra government in exile and those who are individually broadcasting on their own must channel their energy to the voting for self-referendum. Very, very important. We need to get as many votes as possible before October this year. The first phase of this voting is going to end next month, which is May. After that, we'll go to the second voting, and then we'll go to the third voting, to the third phase. So it is very, very important. This is what is going to define a lot of things that will happen this year. For those who do not understand how the Biafra independence and liberation is going to happen, of course, I'll always explain this. On the 2nd of December, 2024, when we have gathered enough vote and see that Biafra people have given their consent to the government, we will declare the restoration of independent state of Biafra. And we are going to intensify the defense of our land. We are also going to intensify the delegitimization of the Nigerian state within Biafra. In addition to that, we will intensify our diplomatic fight to see the recognition of Biafra. Like you hear our Director General of Foreign Affairs Ministry talked about Belgium. It is the same everywhere. Biafra is the only country that actually have enjoyed recognition. No other country has been recognized during the declaration of independence. It is only Biafra that we recognize. And the people do not understand the importance of these recognitions. The past leaders of the Biafra movement have done very well, but nobody has been able to break the chains to benefit what this recognition has to offer. The Biafra government is doing everything to make sure that the recognition of Biafra is restored. We are also filing application in the next 10 days. We are filing application to many authorities that you are going to hear from the media announcement. This application has to do with the recognition of Biafra. And also, we will make sure that the international stage, at the international stage, Biafra become a topic. Biafra is not going to be a topic by carrying flag and running around in the street. Biafra can never be a topic by coming on social media and shouting Simon Ekpa is a criminal. Biafra can never be a topic by calling Ike Kuremadu Onyoshi. Biafra can never be a topic by claiming that or shouting that Tinubu is a drug pusher. No, we have done all those. Everybody knows Tinubu is a drug pusher. Everybody knows Tinubu is a criminal. But that is not the reason to fight for Biafra. The reason to fight for Biafra has to do with the fight to preserve yourself, the fight to preserve your life, the fight to make sure that your culture, your way of life is preserved, and of course, the people as Biafra nation as a large. The fight to live, the fight to life, that is the reason for Biafra. The reason for Biafra is not because Nigeria is corrupt. No. The reason for Biafra is because Nigeria is not a country. The reason for fighting for Biafra is because when Nigeria was created, the people of Biafra did not consent to Nigeria. The reason for fighting for Biafra is because the original plan of Nigeria has changed. without you knowing it. The reason for Biafra exit today is because while Nigeria was recognized as a secular state, today it is no longer secular state. It has changed from the backyard to Islamic State. That is the reason, without your consent. The reason for Nigeria to break into how many pieces but Biafra own is that we are only interested in our own nation and our own people. And let me tell you the fact. The old Eastern Nigeria that fought Biafra war remain Biafra people. Those who say they are not Biafra, the referendum is going on. You may decide to say no to the referendum. And when the result comes, we are going to check you. But for now, Biafra remain 40 United States of Biafra. And the old Eastern region is the Biafra. And those who would tell you that Igbo 5 state should go, these are the issues that I really don't want to talk about because it does not make sense. Igbo does not have 5 states. If you talk about Igbo, there are Igbo in Benue State, there are Igbos in Kogi State, and so if they are telling you Igbos, what is going to happen to the Igbo in Benue State? What is going to happen to the Igbos in River State? And let me tell you, these are just, when we talk about Igbo, we talk about those speaking Igbo. There are Igbos that doesn't speak Igbo. These are the ones you find in Ijo, Efik, Urobo. These are Igbos that doesn't speak Igbo language. What do you do to them? Anyway, my people in Belgium, you have a very important role to play in this struggle or not in the liberation of Biafra. Our achievement speak for itself. I will not sit here and start listening the achievement of the Biafra government in exile. Our own is that we've made sure that the legality of the government in exile has been proven beyond every reasonable doubt in accordance with international law. Our own job now is to continue to push for the recognition of this government, including the de facto government in the homeland. The structure of the government has met the 1933 Montevideo Convention of a state. And now that this particular formation of the government and structure has been achieved, we now focus on the delegitimization of Nigeria. Cover Nigeria Igwe as much as possible. That is all. You have to prove to the international community how serious you are. And of course, the next is to the UN. We will hit them very hard with evidence. So for peace to return to the entire West Africa, Biafra must be free. The continual subjugation of Biafra, the continual forceful union in Nigeria will never restore peace in the West Africa. And this particular peace will go beyond West Africa up to the entire Africa and Sahel. Because the exit of Biafra will also end the upsurge of terrorists within the Sahel region. The interest that the terrorists have, that is the reason they are invading Nigeria today, the majority percent of this interest lies in the Biafra soil. And so the exit of Biafra will end the entire terrorist plan in Africa. And everybody must understand this. So when we fight for our freedom, we are not just fighting for the freedom of Biafra alone. We are fighting for the mankind. We are fighting for the preservation of the human life within the Sahel region. So any nation, any government that is very responsible must support Biafra. But like everybody know, we are not bothered whether a government recognizes Biafra government or not. We know that we must continue to do that which is right according to international law until they are forced to recognize Biafra. Because the time is coming when you can't hide away from what we are doing. The time is coming when this government, who have refused to comment on the activities and the status of Biafra, will be forced to comment. And though the time is coming when the United Nations, who have remained mute and don't, the spirit of I don't care, will be forced to comment on Biafra. And that will determine, that comment will come as a result of our determination, our resilience, and what we have to do to delegitimize Nigeria state within Biafra land. And that's where we are going today. The economic sanction strangulation continues. So Belgian people, I want you to understand that for us to, go deeper into the affair of the Biafra Republic government in exile is something that takes a lot of time. We are now going to start the awareness like never before, making sure that our people will listen to the voice of Biafra radio from the satellite, and our people will listen to the voice of Biafra television, satellite TV in Biafra land, and that is already happening. We are live on satellite on TV, live on satellite on radio, and we are still spreading. Now we have ordered that the entire coastal state, the state from the coastal region, will have, first of all, will have this radio, the FM 97.5 FM from the satellite spread across the state before we talk of the hinterland. Because in the hinterland, the entire Biafrans are aware of what is going on. So our satellite is focused on the coastal side. And from this week, we are into one of the hinterland state will test run the satellite radio from the Biafra Republic government in exile and the Biafra de facto government. So please, if you are one of those who are an officer for the voting for the referendum, please, you have to beef up your activities. We need as many votes as possible before October. This is very, very important. We need as many votes as possible. So I want to thank you for supporting this government up to this point, and our activities in defending Biafra land will continue. That is not going back. From here, I thank you very much. Airborne to the Biafra Republic, airborne to the Biafra Liberation Army, airborne to the Biafra Defense Forces. Thank you all. Your flag and the arms will continue to go against the enemy, which is the Nigeria terrorist state, and will protect our women and our children, and nobody will intimidate us to drop our arms for self-defense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, my Prime Minister. We thank you. We thank you. We appreciate you for the great statement you've made, the great submission that you have told the people of Biafra and to the world. Today, I cannot even add to what our Prime Minister has said. I am being overwhelmed in the spirit. I am being consumed by the love and affection that I have for my Prime Minister. We are saying to the people of Biafra, your freedom is coming. If it is good for the people of India, if it is good for the people of Bangladesh, if it is good for the people of Pakistan to dissolve the so-called contraption that Britain created, that they called a nation, that they called one nation, if it was good for the people of those countries to disintegrate because they knew they are not one people, they knew there is a poison, a problem in their diversity. If the people of Pakistan, India, Bangladesh were wise enough to disintegrate peacefully from the contraption that Britain created in the sake of making money, in the sake of business, in the sake of creating an international enterprise, Britain once made all those countries one. But when Britain left, the people, they knew there was a difference in their behavior. They knew they were not the same people, and they chose to disintegrate along boundary lines. Even till this day, despite India becoming a sovereign nation, Pakistan and Bangladesh having their own independence, there is still turmoil, there is still blackmail, there is still hatred, there is still different kind of tribalism going on along the boundaries and all that. But because you are an independent nation, they can hate or love you. It will not affect you because they cannot influence your policy. As long as you are an independent India, Pakistan or Bangladesh can hate you as much as they want. They might despise your success. They might hate the way you roll. They might hate your people. As long as you are an independent country, you are free to live your life because your policies are not influenced by external stakeholders. That is what we need for Biafra. Because as you can see in that contraption created called Nigeria, you can see the tribalism, you can see the hatred, you can see the nepotism. Every tribe against each other. It is more like a dog-eat-dog world. Killer be killed. A kamikaze. An eye for an eye. The hatred is too much. No love lost among the tribes. And unfortunately, the Biafran war, since the so-called Biafran war, since then, the hatred for my people from all angles, from all tribes, has been something that is hard to even write home about. The reason why we are going through that hell in that contraption called Nigeria is because Britain, when they left, when they made us one nation, when they claimed we had our independence, the people of the zoo, they were not wise enough to break out, to go their separate ways the way the people of Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India did. Which is why till this day, my people has been going through all manners of subjugation. We have met the high-handedness of the zoo government. The so-called presence of the federal government cannot be felt in the land of Biafra. Despite we are the people that bring the resources, despite the oil that runs the economy, the engine of that zoo called Nigeria comes from the people of Biafra. Despite all this, my people are still hated. My people are still subjugated. There is still the hatred and tribalism met upon my people. And even in the face of a man doing a private business, the man they call the owner of Airpeace, he was running a private business. Something that is not in any way influencing the state of that zoo called Nigeria. A man running a private business because he chose the uniform of his cabin crew members. There was still hatred and tribalism met upon that man because of the Ishiago uniform. That tells you how deep rooted the hatred for my people is in that zoo called Nigeria. Today I'm going to lament. I cannot speak fluently today because in my heart, my spirit is overburdened. In my spirit, the God of Biafra is telling me to lament, to cry in the public. I have tried to keep my prayers, my tears, my lamentation in the private. But today, the God of Biafra is saying, you must cry in the public. You must say it in the public. Let the people know what I have told you in the private. In today's theme, I will name it according to my Prime Minister. The defense of Biafra land is a no-go area. For the fact we see what our people are going through, the subjugation, the hatred, the difference in the high-handedness, the difference in the way policies and actions by the zoo government is being met upon our people. In the case of Boko Haram, we are just hearing that somebody, a high-handed man, Unzume, or whatever his name is, he has been released by the zoo government. But our own leader, Mazen Namdekano, can't even have an independent council, talk less of a fair hearing in their zoo court. A man who was kidnapped from Kenya without an extradition, he is about to be tried in that republic called Nigeria. And the media keep mute. My fellow Biafrans, today I am saying that the defense of Biafra land is a no-go area. It is something that we must do. It is a noble cause. It is something we must do for the land, which is why I'm saying we must support our Prime Minister, his cabinet, and those running the affairs of Biafra. We cannot continue this way. You see the high-handedness being met on up by our people. When you look at the case of Okwama, this is the 4th week. The 4th week, the people are still taking refuge in the bushes, in the thick forest. They are not able to go back home. They have been subjugated. They have been killed. They've not been allowed to bury their dead. They have not been allowed to attend to the sick because the military, they are in the community of Okwama, and they are saying the people, the whole community, are not allowed to return to the land, to their community and to their homes. My fellow Biafrans, we say enough is enough. The days of trying to dialogue with the zoo is gone. As our Prime Minister said, we shall remain focused. We shall keep our head and our face, our eyes towards the rising sun. We shall keep our mind, our support to the government of Biafra. We shall make sure we keep on supporting the good work of our Prime Minister. This is the only way we can actualize our freedom. Because it is clear that the whole world, they have kept mute. The UN, the United Nations, and the rest of them, they have kept mute. They have chosen to keep a blind eyes when they see the atrocities happening in that contraption called Nigeria. They see the killing, the pillaging of our people since 1967 till day and counting. Yet the people and the so-called international organizations, they have refused to step in. We are saying never again. For the fact we have lived in the Western world, we know the ways of the white man. We have lived among the white man. We have learned the technical know-hows. We have learned about what it takes to run a good government from the Western world. We know what it takes to respect the rule of law in the Western world. And we understand how those in public offices, those running the affairs of the government, we know how they should conduct themselves because we have scrutinized those we have lived with in the Western world. So I wonder, it beats my imagination that the Western world, where we Biafrans, most of us, abode, they keep a blind eyes when they see Nigeria slowly and gradually turning into an Islamic country. To the Western world, how will you feel if a man living in your country, in Britain, in Germany, France, goes on holiday to that zoo called Nigeria? He's caught, he's kidnapped, and he's forced to turn or change his religion, and he becomes radicalized and sent back to your country to cause havoc to your people and to your nation. This is the trajectory of the zoo. This is the ways that Nigeria will look like if nothing is done within the next 4 or 5 years. Which is why we, the Biafrans, we are saying we have nothing in common with that contraption. We are saying enough is enough. We have been enlightened in the Western world, and when we go back to our land, we shall enlighten our people. We shall liberate our people. We shall set our people free because Biafra must be free. And we know when Biafra is free, Africa in a whole will be free. Today, Senegal has been celebrated that a young 44-year-old man has been made the president. A small Senegal is being celebrated. That's just a taste of what you will get when Biafra becomes a nation. The whole Africa will feel the impact of Biafra. Because we are saying we are in a contraption, we are in a dilemma, we are in a quagmire in that so-called Nigeria. How can you live with the people that hate you? How can you live with the people that hate your success? In the Western world, when you invent something new, you are being glorified by the whole world. Your nation recognizes you, they love you, they appreciate you, and you are being held on a higher pedestal. But in that contraption called Nigeria, when a Biafran man is doing something extraordinary, he is being hated. There is red tapeism. When I say red tapeism, I mean there are red tapes, stumbling blocks placed on that man to make sure their so-called invention don't live off the ground. This is the problem we have in Biafra, and that is the problem caused by Nigeria. That even though we are in our land, the presence of the government of that zoo is influencing the killing, the pillaging in our land. You can feel the presence, the so-called physical policies around the areas known as Biafra. Despite the resources, the oil, the liquid gold that runs the economy of Nigeria, the oil money that is gotten from the land of Biafra, which is more like the sine qua non, the engine that runs Nigeria, we have been left in ruins because of the hatred they have for my people. Today, I want to call out on Britain. Britain, I hope you have learned from your mistakes. You can juxtapose what you did in India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh to what you did in that contraption you called Nigeria. In the case of Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh, you made them one country. You said they were one. You ruled them with the iron fist. A country that were mainly Muslims from the Pakistan side, you made them to work in factories, to oil your guns with pork. The grease used to oil your ammunitions to run your industries in the then country were grease made out of pork. That was an insult, a sacrilege to the people of Pakistan. Despite that, you never cared. You made them one country until you left that region. And when you left, they did what is right. They spoke among themselves. They knew they were not one people. They knew a foreigner came and made them one, all in the sake of extracting or influencing and exploiting their economy, all in the sake of exploiting their resources. You made that contraption called India one. And when you left Britain, the people of Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh, they chose to go their separate ways. We know the good works of Gandhi, how he fought to liberate his people peacefully. Despite that, Britain refused to do what is right. And now you still have the same quagmire. You still have the same problem in that contraption you call Nigeria. Britain, oh Britain, can't you see what is happening? Can't you see the problem you have met or created in Africa? How would you feel if 10 years from now a superpower comes and make Britain, Poland, France, Germany, Bulgaria as one country? And suddenly that superpower is saying the people of France are born to rule. How will you feel, Britain? Because that is what we, the Biafrans, we are going through. You are responsible for the pillage of my people. You are responsible for the killings of the 7 million plus Biafrans during the Biafran War. Britain, you have a moral justice to do what is right. It is in your hands to call the Fulani Caliphate, to speak to the Fulani Cabal, those that you told they were born to rule, those that you told to redeploy their people into the military, because there is a blueprint for them to rule Nigeria through the means of arms. You told the caliphate they were born to rule. And somehow you gave them the science of warfare when you told them to make sure most of their people are deployed into the military of that so-called Nigeria. On the side of we, the Southerners, the Biafrans and the Oduduwa, the Yorubas, you told us we were good to manage the economy. Hence, people like my father and so many of them, you sent them to Queen's English in Britain to learn the Queen's English and understand business administration. That was the ploy of Britain to plant the seed of discord. And while those from the South, they were busy trying to learn business administration, how to run effectively a government, they never knew that behind their back, Britain has already had a compact, an agreement with the Fulani Caliphate. And before you knew it, the rest was history. Till this day, our people has been met with hatred, with subjugation in that land called Nigeria. My fellow Biafrans and people of the whole world listening, we are saying this year we shall stop that madness. This year, what happened in Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh will be replicated in that so-called Nigeria. And finally, to the Yorubas, I want to call upon you. Yes, you may have someone from your extract who is now the president, but think about it. You must get your freedom. Because if you keep on going, skipping to the loo of the caliphate, in the assumption that you have a man in the name of Tinubu as the one running the affairs of that so-called Nigeria, what will be your fate 4 years from now when Tinubu leaves power? What will be your fate 8 years from now when the caliphate, the Fulani cabal, they return back to power? At that point, you will have no mouth. You will have no say. You will have no voice to ask for the dissolution of Nigeria. You cannot eat your cake and have it. The time is ripe to dissolve that contraption. And the time is now. From me, from here, for now, I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I remain yours truly, Biafra Superstars Media. God bless you.
Yeah, check me out. Superstars Media. Lord Logan. But let me turn Lord Logan. And it's wild flora show. 1914 amalgamation is what we dying for. 3 nations to 1 nation. Ever since annihilation. Nepotism is nonsense. You and you clap your hand, clap your hands. Biafra gonna come, clap your hand, clap your hands. Biafra, Oduduwa, we're free now. Freedom is gonna come, we're free now. Yeah.